doesn't rain on the 69 Mets. Come to think of it, I take that back. Two things rained on the 69 Mets: champagne and confetti. It is an extreme privilege for me to be on the field for this event. 50 years is a long time. What's incredible, though, is that with each passing year, the magnitude of what this amazing team accomplished just seems to get bigger and bigger. The 1969 New York Mets created, quite simply, the greatest New York sports story ever told. It does this remarkable group of men very little justice to say they won the World Series. Some team does that every year. What the Mets accomplished 50 years ago not only represented the fulfillment of a dream that for 7 years had seemed unfathomable, they changed people's lives. They taught us that there's nothing beyond our reach, no goal unattainable, if we're willing to put in the work and truly believe in our ability to get the job done. And in Gil Hodges, they had the perfect leader to instill that belief. These men clearly believed in each other. They inspired one another. And the people who told us the story may have even inspired a few young fans listening and watching at home that they could do the same. Right, Gary? So today, we salute the team that took us on the ride of a lifetime, which allowed them to take one of their own right through the ticker tape, straight down the Canyon of Heroes. Ladies and gentlemen, let's celebrate the 1969 World Champion New York Mets. We begin by acknowledging some special guests who join us for today's celebration. The matriarch of the Mets franchise, Joan Payson, the Mets owner half a century ago, was a visionary who spearheaded efforts to bring National League Baseball back to New York. Today, we are proud to welcome her granddaughter, Whitney DeRelay, and great-granddaughter, Alex Olson. John Murphy was with the team from its inception and was the general manager who helped acquire many of the stars who made what some people called a miracle season a reality. Please welcome his son, John Murphy. Manager Gil Hodges was a New York City icon, an original Met, and the leader of the 1969 squad. And if there is any justice in this world, next year, when the Veterans Committee reconvenes, they will see fit to finally give this man his place in the Baseball Hall of Fame. We are so honored to have with us today his wife, Mrs. Joan Hodges, and son, Gil Jr. He was one of only 7 men to manage, coach, and play for the New York Mets, having served as first base coach in 1969, representing 3-time Most Valuable Player, Hall of Famer, and baseball legend Yogi Berra. Please welcome his son, Larry Berra. A former All-Star, Eddie Yost coached third base for the Mets for 9 seasons. Please welcome his children, Felita and Michael Yost. Cal Kuntz pitched 40 games in relief that summer and ended the season on a 6-game winning streak. Please welcome his wife, Peggy Kuntz. Don Cardwell's 5-game winning streak down the stretch was instrumental to the team's title run. Please welcome his wife, Sylvia Cardwell. In June of 1969, the Mets made a key acquisition who went on to become the World Series MVP. Please welcome the children of Don Clendenin, Don and Donna Clendenin. The team leader in home runs and runs batted in that season. Tommy Agee led off Game 3 of the World Series with a home run, but he was just getting started. He also made 2 spectacular diving catches, one when he left his feet, the other running right up against the left center field wall, that live on in postseason lore. Please welcome his wife, Maxine Agee, and their daughter, Janelle. Ed Charles homered in the Mets' division-clinching win, and later, the Glider scored the winning run in Game 2 of the World Series, the Mets' first-ever World Series victory. Please welcome his son, Ed Charles Jr., and longtime partner, Lavani Brinkley. One of the all-time favorites in franchise history, pitcher Tug McGraw worked out of the bullpen and consistently put out the fires. The spirited reliever won 9 games in 1969, and he saved 12 others, including Game 2 of the National League Championship Series. We proudly welcome Tug's kids, Matt, Mark, and Carrie. We would also like to acknowledge 3 very important players who are unable to join us today. Infielder, the Mighty Mite, Al Weiss. Second baseman, Ken Boswell. And Hall of Fame pitcher, Nolan Ryan. Finally, we welcome 3 families representing a few amazing and very special Mets who are unable to join us for today's game. Joe Pignatano began his catching career right here in New York with the Brooklyn Dodgers and retired as a Met after the club's inaugural season. But he didn't go anywhere, really. He's from Brooklyn. He later served as a Mets coach for 14 years. Please welcome his son, Frank Pignatano. A rookie in 1969, Gary Gentry won 13 games, including a complete game shutout, which clinched the National League East title. He was the winner of the pivotal 3rd game of the World Series. In his honor, please welcome his wife, Janet Gentry. On July 9th, 1969, he threw 8 1/3 innings of perfect baseball against the Chicago Cubs. His league-leading 25 victories represented a quarter of the team's win total that year. It was no surprise when he was presented with the first of his 3 Cy Young Awards after the 1969 season, the Mets' all-time leader in wins, earned run average, strikeouts, and shutouts, a member of baseball's Hall of Fame, and you know where we are today? At 41 Seaver Way, because he is simply the franchise. Please welcome the family of Tom Seaver. And now, let's welcome our 1969 World Champion New York Mets. This Southpaw's impressive 2.40 ERA made him a key figure in the bullpen after his major league debut in May. And he's joined by a valuable relief pitcher who led the team with 13 saves and closed out the team's first win in both the National League Championship Series and the World Series. Please welcome number 31, pitcher Jack DeLauro, and number 42, pitcher and now Dr. Ron Taylor. Next up, he collected his first major league hit in his major league debut. That was in June of 1969. And he's joined by his fellow rookie who played in 118 games, scoring the winning run in Game 4 of the World Series. Please welcome number 1, infielder, outfielder Bobby File, and number 17, outfielder Rod Gasper. He pitched back-to-back complete game shutouts down the stretch for the eventual world champs, and his battery mate was a 14-year Major League veteran who caught for both the 1969 and 73 Mets. Please welcome, and we know this thanks to Bob Murphy, from Lost Nation, Iowa, number 43, Jim McAndrew, and number 10, Duffy Dyer. Along with Tommy Agee, he was acquired from the Chicago White Sox and served as a veteran catcher for the 1969 champs. And by the way, he could lay down a bunt. And he's joined by a man who drove in 7-game winning runs in his rookie season, batting .385 in the National League Championship Series with a 2-run homer in the series-clinching third game. Please welcome number 9, catcher J.C. Martin, and number 11, infielder Wayne Garrett. He made one of the most legendary outfield catches in World Series history, a game-saving grab in Game 4. And he's joined by a 1969 All-Star who made the last catch to cap off the miracle season, cradling the final out of the World Series and finishing the year ranked 3rd in the National League with a .340 batting average. Please welcome outfielders number 4, Ron Swoboda, and number 21, Cleon Jones. A tough-as-nails shortstop He played for the Mets from 1965 through 1977. Then he went on to first coach and later manage the team. And he was second on the team in batting average, the man who joins him, and home runs during that miracle season, heating up during the National League Championship Series to post a .538 batting average. Please welcome number 3 infielder Buddy Harrelson and number 24 outfielder Art Shamsky. You know, about 10 years ago, Buddy Harrelson said that when he would meet any of his former teammates at events like this, he would shake their hands. But then as he saw a few of the team we honor today begin to pass, he said, you know what? From now on, I'm giving them all a hug. And Buddy, you just got a great big hug from 40,000 people. Well, we head towards the finish with this duo, just like we did in the fall of 1969. He won 17 games while posting a 2.28 earned run average and 180 strikeouts. With 2 World Series wins, his complete game clinched the club's first championship. He's the winningest left-handed pitcher in the history of the franchise, and he threw the final pitch of that season towards, quite simply, the greatest defensive catcher of his generation. A Met for 11 years, he was behind the plate for every inning of the Mets' 1969 and 1973 postseasons. Please welcome All-Stars number 36, pitcher Jerry Koosman, and number 15, catcher Jerry Grody. And finally, we welcome a man who started on the very first Mets team, and he's no stranger to miracles, because this year he experienced one of his own. This New York native played from 1962 through 1979. He's the club's career leader in games played, clubbing a home run in Game 3 of the 1969 World Series. Please welcome first baseman and original Met, and it is so wonderful to see him in tip-top health, number 7, Eddie Kranepool. What's up, Crazy? Ladies and gentlemen, the 1969 World Champion New York Mets. We ask you right now to please rise and remove your caps for the singing of our national anthem. But first, please turn your attention to Citi Vision as we honor the special memories of the teammates and coaches from the 1969 Mets, who are no longer with us. Thank you. Now, performing our national anthem, please welcome Tony Award nominee Jared Spector from the hit Broadway musical, The Cher Show.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Ladies and gentlemen, Jared Spector, who plays the role of Sonny Bono in the hit Broadway musical, The Cher Show. And now, let's take a trip down memory lane and look back at the immortal summer of 1969.
In 1969, man performed two feats that staggered the imagination of the American public. One took place in mid-July, 250,000 miles from planet Earth, when man first landed on the moon. The other took place in October, here on planet Earth on a baseball diamond.
This nation should commit itself before this decade is out of landing a man on the moon.
Yes, indeed. They've got the flag up now. President of the United States.
1969 was the year that we became us.
It was the year we arrived.
It was a time when incredible things
seemed almost guaranteed.
They have upset the Baltimore Colts.
There were good times and bad times.
The speed at which things changed could leave you dazed and confused.
But in 1969,
I don't know what was more amazing.
You could not believe it.
Where we ended up or how quickly we got there.
We were real long shots to win anything in 1969.
100-1 underdog New York Mets.
Opening day, April 8th.
We lost at home to Montreal.
First Canadian lineup for a major league game.
In the first game in their history.
There were signs, though.
We scored 4 in the bottom of the ninth.
And lost by 1.
We hovered around 500 for the first 2 months of the season. But every story has to start somewhere. May 28th is when we started our streak with an extra inning.
wouldn't lose a game for 2 weeks after that.
By the end of June, it really felt like times they were a-changing.
We won 5 straight when the Cubs came to New York in July.
Once we got Clinton Denham, things kind of fell in place. We seemed to find our niche.
The next night, Tom was something more than terrific.
And he damn near throws a perfect game.
Retired the first 25 he faced.
A clean hit to left center field, and there goes the perfect game.
Jimmy friggin' Qualls.
Now the applause for Darcy.
We had a ride.
We took a giant leap forward.
Here, man, from the planet Earth, first step foot upon the moon.
And we all sat there in disbelief. Something like that could happen. And you talk about metaphors. We just looked at each other and said, you know, why not?
July 1969.
It was just one of those moments.
Beautiful, just beautiful.
We came back to earth in August, though. We got swept by the Astros.
And we fell 9.5 games out of first.
Then, as the rain fell in New York,
We just started rolling.
Four wins in 2 days.
13 out of 14.
We kept rising in the standings, and we were ready to make a move towards first place.
By the time the Cubs come back in September, the lead was down to 2.5 games.
They knew we were coming for them.
The next day, Seaver's on the hill.
and then the black cat.
Black cat comes out and stares down the Cubs dugout.
And we knew it was all over for the Cubs.
Tom tossed a complete game. We won 7-1.
The next day, we swept the Expos in a doubleheader to take first place.
So for the first time in the history of the New York Mets, they have gone into first place.
Never look back.
On ball is short. This could be it. There's one. There's two. The game is over. The Mets are the champion. At 9:07 on September 24th, the Mets have won the championship of the Eastern Division of the National League.
We kept the good times rolling right into October. We swept Hank Aaron and the mighty Braves.
Dropped out to third. Garrett has the ball. A third to first. And the Mets are the National League champion. A long, wild scramble as the Mets celebrating their National League championship.
It was on to the World Series.
If you pick it on paper, it's the Orioles.
And people sometimes forget how good those Baltimore teams were. 4 World Series in 7 years.
It was a logical favorite against the amazing New York Knicks.
We split the first 2 games at Baltimore.
And the series is now tied at 1 game apiece.
And then it was off to New York to make history.
Racing hard is A.J.
It wasn't about what people thought we were capable of.
It was about what we knew was possible.
The Mets win their second straight.
And I tell A.G. and Swoboda, it's 2 of the greatest catches I've ever seen.
Swoboda making another sensational catch for the Mets.
It was amazing.
It was unforgettable.
It was so loud.
The Mets win the ball game by a score of 2-1.
Now we're just 1 win away.
See, a baseball with shoe polish on it.
To the Ward's first base, another shoe polish play.
I think the Orioles were pretty mad about that one.
Going down for a home run for Clinton.
We come to play. This is the club that played this way all year long. We came from behind. We did it today.
I'm proud of what we accomplished.
I think all of us are.
Certainly all the wonderful players that we had this year that done such an outstanding job, and we must not forget all the beautiful fans that we had in Shea Stadium. It's been a great year, and thank God it's over now.
The Mets are the world champions.
And We did it.
We did it.
We did it.
Look at this scene.
And we did it.
And we did it.
The world champion.
But no matter where we were down 6-0, and Pittsburgh came back and won that ball game because we never put our heads between our legs and we always fought. And it's the greatest feeling in the world.
And what we did was miraculous.
For this team of destiny.
It's still sweet, isn't it? And seeing the expressions on these men's faces watching that video reinforces how sweet it is. And now, please welcome to the lectern the only man to play in each of the Mets' first 18 seasons, Mets Hall of Famer Ed Kranepool.
Thank you, Howie. It's my pleasure to be here this afternoon and speaking for my fellow teammates who are here on the stage. We want to thank the Met organization for bringing us back together so that we have the opportunity to spread all the lies. And they've gotten bigger over the years. The home runs have gotten longer. And we've all been friends for almost 50 years. And it's an amazing thing to come out here and see the fans who have supported us over the years. We certainly wouldn't have gotten to first place without you people. My only regret is when I look at the roster, there are a number of players who aren't here today. We have lost quite a few, including our leader, Gil. But it's the current players that are home on the disabled list watching us. And we just want to tell Tom Seaver and his wife, Nancy, we all took the ride down Seaver Way. And it was a great feeling because he is the franchise. The amazing Mets were a team, and there was no I in the word team. Gil Hodges brought us home. It was his dedication and leadership that led us there. It was the promised land, and we were glad to take that ride. It's changed all our lives. So we thank the Wilpon family for allowing us to come back. I want to wish the current Mets good luck. They can do it like we did. You got to believe in yourself. You got to believe. My roommate Tug McGraw made that slogan popular. So good luck. You have a half a season. We want to wish you the best so that we can celebrate in October when we really clinch the World Series and come back when you guys are still playing. Thank you and good luck.
Thank you, Ed. And thanks to all of our wonderful fans for coming out today to celebrate the world champion 1969 New York Mets, who always remembered that to win in New York, you gotta have heart.
You've got to have hope. Mustn't sit around to it but to do it. You gotta